I've been asking and reaching out to everyone in my circle, in my community, to see if it's possible for us to go to GenCon this year. And after, incidents from last year and what's been happening this year, I just don't think it's possible at all. My wife, Shira, has refused to travel when she's only about 5 or 6 weeks away from giving birth. Apparently, we're not supposed to hit the road so close
strangely enough,
to the actual
being in my 9th month of pregnancy
due date.
Over GenCon does not seem like the best idea.
Doesn't seem... I mean, you're walking very effectively.
Yeah.
You could probably hand out ducks to people.
Yeah, I can make it through 2 aisles, I think, is probably how I would go. Do you realize how big the vendor hall is?
You're not loving road trips, though, recently.
Not loving road trips, and I don't think they would let me have a scooter.
Yeah, maybe scooters might be a little restricted. They're at least hard to get through the alleyways, and I'll be honest, while you are still competitive in board games, I don't know that you want to sit there in a giant vendor hall playing them.
No.
We're not going to GenCon this year, as much as we would love to. We would love to be traveling to a lot of conventions this year, but this has not been the year for convention travel. Instead, this has been the year to panic and freak out because we are incredibly close to welcoming our very first little duck into the family.
Yes, we are very, very excited. We have been growing this little duck since December, essentially.
Yeah.
Is when we knew right away, and so we've known for the past...
This is the first, we've made some, off-kilter statements here and there.
People
some people
have been suspecting and commenting.
But we didn't even tell our family for a very, very long time.
Yeah, and that partly has to do with the Jewish tradition of not casting an evil eye, and so we've been a little bit more private about it, but as we're gearing up towards the final stretch, and Jesse's realizing that he only has weeks left, not months at this point, it's time. Our life is going to be shifting in a slightly different direction over the next few years.
We actually just finished the last bit of travel that we're going to be doing during the last season of our life. I was up with your parents and with a close friend up in Lakewood, New Jersey. My grandfather had passed away, and so we both made our way down to Kentucky for the funeral. You got to see a lot of my family, which was awesome.
Lots of fiascos with travel and the airline.
Yeah. Did you all know the airlines shut down? That was ridiculous. Fun to be a pregnant woman or a husband with a pregnant woman.
Traipsing through airports back and forth.
From exit to exit, from aisle to aisle, from
rental car return to rental car rental, all around.
Yeah, we've committed to not hitting the road again until the little avocado shows up.
Yes.
So, we're excited, we're thrilled. What is this video about? Well, this video is about a few things. First off, we need your help. We have a few questions we need to pose to our community about what games we should start looking into, how to start, training your kid. Like, if we want to go all the way from 0 to terraforming Mars, what's the right steps to get there? I'd love to hear your thoughts. And also, we've got some of our own ideas about how we're going to continue playing board games with an expanding family, because hopefully, God willing, this won't be the last.
Only.
Yeah, this will be the first, but won't be the last.
You have something else to tell me.
We're having twins. She doesn't know. I actually told the doctor specifically, keep it on the DL. Don't let her know.
No, it is a singleton baby. We've chosen not to find out the gender. So, we are going into this surprise.
So, if you want to vote boy, girl down in the comments, let us know. Yeah. I mean, we've got a really cute baby book that we've been working through with photos and pictures, and we've been doing the, hocus pocus style stuff. Are you carrying low? Are you carrying high? Does the baby love sugar? Did cocaine affect you differently? There's a lot of things we've been doing.
Was it high or low?
Yeah.
Yeah. So we have not chosen to find out the gender, and we are insanely excited as we really approach our due date quite rapidly.
September 2nd.
Yeah.
That's full. That would be full term.
That would be full term. That would be 40 weeks. But I, as a NICU nurse, have seen babies come from 22 weeks. So
we're
in my
healthy.
world, this is already way past overdue.
Baby has been healthy. Baby has been holding hands right next to the face since what was the 13-week ultrasound?
12-week ultrasound.
Just the little tiny amoeba, just hands right near the face, hasn't shifted from that position.
No, we have a very hard time capturing that face on the ultrasounds.
Kicks are the coolest thing in the world.
You've seen the belly shift, and in the morning it's
Wild.
an uneven little slope. It prefers one side over the other.
Yeah. Yeah, I've done the traditional like dad approach of really not realizing anything until the first kick, and then being like, oh, that was weird and creepy. And now, like as we approach the actual due date, I'm slowly starting to panic.
You've started elbowing and kneeing the belly.
Yeah.
In your sleep.
Finances are going to be all on my plate for a little bit, which is not going to work, but we'll figure that out.
I'll be taking off from the hospital for at least 6 weeks and hopefully a full 12 weeks.
Yeah.
And we're going to have some adjustments.
Yeah, we're very excited. But we're not going to be at GenCon.
No.
So for all of you that are going to be there, have a really good time. Like the last year we were at GenCon, we really took it from a let's be fans, let's be hobbyists, let's be a brand new married couple.
We stayed up all night and camped.
Stood in line for Lorcana.
Stood in line for Lorcana and did Kingdom Death, lines.
We walked the entire floor.
We car camped.
We played games.
Yeah.
I mean, we had such a good time at GenCon.
It was so much fun. And I can't wait to introduce the baby to that. And it seems like right now it's not the perfect time.
No, certain things should be prioritized over GenCon.
Safety.
As shocking as that might sound.
Shall we go down our list, though, and talk about how we hope to prioritize?
Yeah, so we haven't talked about these before, but we've got a list of 5 ideas for how to prioritize still playing games with a newborn in the house. And I'm thinking 0 to 1 year. Like that first 12 months is kind of the period that I have in mind. I understand, depending on how everything works out, there might be a month where games just aren't happening between the two of us. But I have some thoughts about how we keep... Because we enjoy gaming, we enjoy the community we have, we enjoy playing, we enjoy producing content. And so we have a lot of factors that require us in some ways, whether it's social, mental, or, when it comes to the channel, financial, that require us to continue playing games. Yes. So there's a big question as to how we're going to do that.
Yeah.
Also... For those of you that are interested and curious, we do have a baby registry linked at the top of this video description. It's not the hardcore point of this video, but if you want to buy cute duck or Pooh Bear themed things to help us along, we'll probably...
Or avocado.
Yeah, we'll keep an eye on whatever people send along with gift notes or whatever in the baby registry. And so we'll probably do a unboxing or something here on the channel for anyone who sends things our way. No pressure at all. We have a family that's really stepping up to the plate. Yeah. We have a brother-in-law that right now, today, is packing up,
crib.
I think their final, the final use of their crib, and mailing it up to us. My stepmom is going to be coming up for a couple weeks at the beginning, and she's obsessed and excited. And so we're doing really well, and we're really thrilled. All right, you want to go through your list?
Sure. Okay, so starting from the very, very beginning.
Happened up there.
I was going to do baby wearing.
Ooh, okay.
So strap baby to...
So theoretically, play through the screaming.
Baby should hopefully sleep. Babies usually, in the first few months of life, babies like to be contained and swaddled and comforted, and being around ambient noise should be good. Being around lights and things should be good and teach the baby to sleep through different environments. And they are more likely to sleep when they feel the warmth of someone else. And so I can baby wear, you can baby wear.
Can our dog baby wear?
I think the baby's going to surpass
Ash,
the dog.
tag her in. Get Ash in here.
So, that was my first idea, baby wearing.
I think that's a great idea, and I think both of us are very comfortable with the idea of having just an amoeba strapped to you for a season.
Yeah.
And so that's great. So if we're playing through Jaws of the Lion or something like that.
I'm really excited because we're due at the beginning of fall, and there's all these hoodie sweatshirts that I can put on top of me and baby, and have baby just underneath the sweatshirt. And so I'm super excited to get all these baby wearing sweatshirts. I love baby wearing, and I've never had my own child to do it with, and it's a little strange to do it with other people's babies. So it's an intimate situation.
I've never baby worn ever, so
Well, we're gonna start hiking and getting out, and so baby wearing we're gonna hopefully get on a bike. I've been banned from biking by my husband.
Yeah, for some reason, when we hit, babies actively moving and kicking in belly, we decided driving would remain the most dangerous thing we would do. Biking was taken off the table.
He brought up the point that
you were biking at 24 weeks.
I did. I went on 2 bike rides this season. He brought up the point that yearly, I usually have one fall off my bike. I either take a corner too quickly, it's slippery outside.
Year isn't over yet.
And the year, I haven't fallen this year, so he's like, we're not trying that over the next
We do have a Spartan race scheduled for May of next year.
We do.
So, we're not backing off exercise at all.
What's your first one?
So my first one was keep the game set up. Just as a standard rule. Right now, we don't have a lot of little fingers that are running around.
Are you talking about like campaign games or any game?
Really,
keep it up?
What we've been doing recently is really diving into a single game for a longer period of time. And so whether it's over here in the studio space and we have a dedicated area in the basement or something, or over in our actual house, and maybe we'll have one game in each location. But you and I have been doing, Jaws of the Lion, My City. We've been playing through these games that can remain alive on a table. Scythe as well.
And a lot of those games take a lot of time to set up and tear down, and if we can eliminate that process...
and just having it in a space where it's available and ready to play. Like, for instance, we made the mistake of moving Jaws of the Lion from a set-up, ready-to-play position to a put-away on a side table position, not put away in box, just not set up and ready to play, and we haven't got it back out yet because it takes time for us to resort and reorganize. And so really dedicating a space, whether it's a room... or a corner of the dining room, wherever it needs to be, where the game is alive, not out of the box unorganized, but alive and ready to sit down and table, will help us play when we have those spare 15, 30 minutes, when we're both awake in the middle of the night and we don't know what to do. We want to not be on our phones or around technology heavily with the child. And so gaming will actually be one of the main options that we have as a couple, outside of watching YouTube or TV or a movie. Gaming will be one of the options that we have to be around baby, to be involved with baby, while we're both uncomfortable, awake and annoyed at each other.
Okay. Mine now skips ahead to like the 7 to 12 month period. Skipping the baby period.
That's a big skip. Wow. You really moved on. You're just going to baby wear till 12 months?
I will, honestly. Even beyond that, hopefully. But have baby safe toys accessible, because as baby gets more handsy and as baby is on our lap, there does not need to be any choking hazards within baby's grasp. Have a little playpen like by the side of the table, a pack and play with specific baby toys that the baby gets to play with while we play games. So baby gets baby toys, we get
sure, and have that in the environment where we're going to be playing.
Yeah, so. And so like hopefully with both of our home and our studio house, we're going to have a place that is safe for baby to be awake and interacting with us.
Yeah, strategic goals trap baby. Having friends who game. So in the Jewish community, we have weekends, and we keep Shabbat fully. So we have a 25-hour period where we're offline entirely. We have meals often by people. I'm sure we're going to be invited out. I'm sure we're going to have some people that are invited in, and so maintaining and continuing things like Tuesday night game night, having friends who have children who game, having friends who like to game, all of that will make it a little bit easier to get something to the table. Because, for instance, if push comes to shove, we could tag team. Cher and I could both be
that was one of mine.
Watching the baby while playing with other people and tag in and out.
So in that vein, we have friends who are in the similar stage of life as us, of having kids who are 0 to 1. And during that time period, the babies are needy. They need your attention. They need diaper changes. They need bottles. They need naps. They need comforting. So they have some needs, and being with a similarly minded couple who also has a similarly aged child will make us less frustrated with them less frustrated with us. We're both going to be taking pauses. And then my next one is going to be playing as a team. So if we are in a setting where it's a little bit more competitive, me and Jesse play together so that we both know what our strategy is, what we're doing in the game. And then if one of us has to step out, the other one can take over. We both are fairly competitive.
So this links to like my third point, which is something I've observed our friends who have children doing. We don't always have to be gaming together. I mean, there's ways for us to game together with the kid when we're doing 2-player games, but if we're going to a game night, like right now we have a Tuesday night and a Thursday night, which are facilitated one by us, one by a friend who's in our Tuesday night game group, and either one of us could go to either one of those game nights. And so what we'll see with our other friends is if you're going to be there, she will show up and he will be on baby duty. And if I'm going to be there, he'll show up and she'll be on baby duty. And so we have plenty of opportunity as long as we're mindful of the other person's need in the relationship and who else is going to be there, what other friends are going to be showing up. We have the opportunity to tag out for an hour or two.
Or if it's a game like that I especially like and I really want to, I just need a mental break.
Yeah.
Then
And so we don't always have to be together. And luckily here in Cleveland, we have a big enough community that we're close enough that if anything does happen, if we need the other person's support, like a complete blowout, we've been hearing about those a lot recently. My sister's thrilled that I'm going to potentially deal with them. Don't buy Walmart diapers, apparently.
I can't wait for Jesse to get peed on.
We can tag in the other person, and so not limiting the other person's options when you yourself aren't doing something.
Yep.
Okay, number 4, I think. Ish, kind of.
So my next 2 kind of tie along with each other. One is just be mentally prepared to take pauses. It's my number 4. Play games you can pause/save. Like, there is going to inevitably be a crying baby at some point if we are playing Terraforming Mars. Realistically, it's a 3 to 4 hour game sometimes.
Yeah, use it as a strategic opportunity to get a little bit extra gold. You need that buff. That resource influx is essential.
Playing games where you can work in pauses, where you remember whose turn it was. Games that aren't, first of all, no real-time games. That would be ridiculous. What?
Yeah, I'm thinking of that Simon alien-based real-time game where baby starts crying and you just let the aliens continue to, died.
Yeah.
Real-time games might work best with the baby. You roleplay as if you actually have a child. You have to make a determination as to whether or not you fight the aliens to save the family or you take care of the kid now.
In any case, playing games where you can pause and go take care of the baby and then come back to it and remember what your strategy was. So probably not playing the heaviest games on our docket during this next season.
I think for me there's 2 things. There's playing games that can be ended quickly or paused comfortably, but also learning how to and setting up systems, whether it's written or video-based or photo-based, of saving games so you can come back to them readily. And so if we're playing, let's say we get into a season where we want to play a lot of Terraforming Mars, which does happen, and we have Terraforming Mars set up, we're going through it, we need to be prepared and understand when we are going to pause and what quick notes we need to jot down in 10 seconds before running off to deal with the baby and taking a break so that we can start playing the game quickly, whether that's jotting down the cards that you're going to play next or the strategy that you're aiming for, or what you're about to collect.
I always forget whose turn it is, so putting something like notable on that person's player, like you're next, or where we are in the round. I think especially with campaign games, we've found that when we've attempted to play through Kingdom Death, and we've had to take a break, and we don't get back to it nearly as fast as we want to, we're all like, wait, where are our characters? What are we running with? Yeah. It's hard to jump back in the middle of a campaign game that has ramped up in intensity and complexity without, we've talked about, like, just at the end of the game, just do a quick little video saying, hey, this is where I'm up to, these are who I'm running with, these are their stats, this is what they're best at, this is what they're not great at. Don't take this person out because they are just lion meat. So
yeah, that mistake has been made a few times. My last thing is single player, 2-player. I mean, we're probably going to be focusing a lot in this next season on those solo games or those 2-player games, and possibly even figuring out how to couple game with solo games. So, for instance, having a solo game set up on the table.
We've enjoyed doing
I
that.
learn it and play it, and then teach you, and we compete with each other on score, or we both sit down and we play a little bit of the solo game, and then if someone has to step away and leave, the game hasn't had to pause because it doesn't need both people to be completely active in it.
We've been enjoying Final Girl as a team. And so, but that also allows one of us to step away and the other person can continue playing.
Keep going. Make bad decisions, write down the story, tell the person what happened.
Yeah. By the way, we all died. And it's great to come back to.
There's even games that are heavier and more strategic that could facilitate that very well. And we just have to be purposeful about doing it. For instance, a game like Ark Nova or Terraforming Mars has solo engines available. Scythe even has a solo engine available. And so it could be a thing where we share on turns. Where it's
even on something shiny, Cloudspire.
But it could be a thing where we share on turns for some of those heavier games. Like, I'd be very interested in saying, hey, over the course of the next week, Ark Nova is going to be on this table in this space. You put this mark on when you've taken your turn. I'll put a mark on when I've taken my turn. We just go back and forth like that. Each taking a look at the strategy, seeing what cards we have, and taking an action. And seeing if we can collaboratively, without being together, play through a whole sequence
effectively. It'd be interesting if we could do that.
See if we can win. So there's a lot of different things you can do with the games that we have available that don't require us both to have a big section of dedicated time. And then there's some games that are just off the docket. I mean, Twilight Imperium probably isn't happening. A 9-hour game that requires full constant immersion,
Yeah.
It's probably not going to be so available.
Well, that's maybe. My last one is actually, so going into my last one, is that time it around naps and sleep schedule. And so let's say we do end up going to a convention over this next year after the baby's born and the baby's still young. We set up the baby to sleep in the stroller in the corner of the room, and we play through Twilight Imperium from like 7 p.m. after the baby goes to sleep until 4 a.m. And yes, I take a break to feed the baby and change the baby, but those are quicker things than having a wake period when the baby's awake in the daytime and you need to interact with them.
I'm less convinced that that's possible, but I'm open to seeing it.
I want to try it. So then also as the baby gets, like, timing it around naps. Like, if we really want to play a game with each other, then we prioritize the baby's nap time, not to do laundry, not to put away dishes, not to do other activities, but spend time with each other without baby.
Yeah. So, we're not going to Gen Con. In fact, we're not going to really any conventions this year. The first convention we're considering going to, moving into this next year, would be Level Up, and we'd be just going as fans. We'd be going as friends and hoping to sit down and play a lot of games. But when it comes to Quackalope showing up in a business suit, walking booth to booth, shaking hands, that was what was available to 26, 27-year-old me. Maybe one day we'll get back to there. Maybe one day we'll do meet and greets. Maybe one day we'll have another Gen Con duck that's signed by all the incredible people we meet and see. But for now, we're taking a hiatus from travel. We're taking a hiatus from conventions. And we're figuring out this next season. And we're both thrilled. We're both extremely excited.
Now, my questions for you guys.
We've got some questions. These are important.
These are very important. What age did you start playing games with your baby?
Yep. Yeah. Can Crokinole at 6 months old? Is that so possible? You let me know.
Eating the buttons? Okay.
No, not eating the buttons. I'm thinking like you get a little bit of the dexterity going. Suddenly you've got a competitive player.
So like what age is my question? And second question is, what games did you start with? Yeah. Because if our goal and our vision is to have a competitive board gamer in our family, is there games that you recommended as not being boring for adults? Because yes, there's Go Fish, there's Life, there's Candyland. But I really have no interest in sitting down with all of
the next season of Quackalope's gonna be wild. I've played 72 games of Candyland. Let me tell you.
Strategy.
Why shut up and sit down is wrong about Risk.
Oh. So, yes, if you have any games, I've heard a friend of ours had a really positive experience with My Little Scythe. And so there's definitely kid games. I'm really interested in looking more into KTBG, Kids Table Board Games, because they have a lot of kid-centered games. And so I'm excited to explore their catalog further as our kid gets bigger. But that's way down the line because those are actually strategy games that aren't boring for adults. But what did you start with? What are your questions?
Good games for kids. One of those. How to game with kids, which is the list we just went through. Yeah. But I'd love to hear what has worked and hasn't worked for other people, because I know there's a lot of people in the community that have been through this season of life. And then finally, what would be your strategic pathway from 0 to Terraforming Mars? Like, what's the progression? What is the list of games you play to move your child from a non-gamer, because they're new, to just bad at games? We'll just be honest about it. So far, we have no evidence our child is competitive at all.
They compete with you when you punch them. They punch back.
A score of 0 in Terraforming Mars to a competitive Terraforming Mars gamer. Like, what's the path? Like, I want to start finding the connections of, I understand intro games and games that, like, bring people into the hobby, like Catan and stuff. But are those the right games if you're already a gaming family? Are those really the games you start with again? Or is that the games that new families are introduced to the hobby through, as opposed to games that progress someone that's already going to be around board games into this deeper well of gaming?
Yeah.
I don't know. There's a lot of good questions there. Either way, thank you for watching. Thank you for being here. Thank you for being a part of this community and allowing us to be a part of yours. And go leave a comment down below about how you're furious about the fact that my Gen Con video that was supposed to be full of drama and rumors about how Quackalope's not allowed to go to Gen Con, because that's clearly what you were clicking on and hunting for, turned out to be a really fun, cool announcement video of a baby. Go yell at me or leave mean comment. I'll pin them or something. Bye.